Alrighty guys, Dave the Gamer here, coming with the part 2. If you haven't seen the first portion, it was about PvP events, faction-wide Horde vs Alliance battle 1v1 events. Some fun and interesting stuff, but for that stuff to actually work properly, we need to balance the factions. So I'm going to have timestamps of all of this down there in the description, so if you want to just skip ahead to different parts of this. But I think PvP personally, I love raiding, I love PvP. The one thing I don't really enjoy is just mindlessly grinding for gold throughout the game. So I want to really bring PvP back to the open world. Basically, it's going to help control Black Lotus prices. A lot of different stuff. You got to check out the other video to see what I'm talking about with that. But for these PvP events to really thrive, strategic change needs to happen. So some of the topics I'll be going over. I'm thinking of ways to increase the alliance overall. Right now, most servers are horde dominant, so I'm trying to think of creative ways. I've seen different ways that private servers tried to tackle this, and I'm kind of piggybacking off them by adding some other spicy little things in here. So obviously, this is going to have to deal with some change. I know people, the word just scares you. I can already hear it. I can already hear the trolls in my fucking comments. Oh, you're fucking trying to change the game. Hashtag no change. Come on. Like, let's be real. We're already 8 months into this bitch. They've been changing shit. Why not just make some changes that are actually going to better the game, where we actually get to choose what the change is? So bear with me here. I'm open for, positive feedback. Hey Dave, that was shit. How about this? Instead of just saying, hey, that's not a good idea, give me a reason or a thought of what you would do. I want to compile everybody's feedback to make some of this happen. But we actually have to have, a positive back and forth interaction, not just shitting on someone, all right? So what I'm thinking about, these topics: added racial abilities, give them extra bonuses while leveling, and then I'm going to go over why we should make these changes. So some racial improvements slash, basically adding some racials. So dwarves already have stone skin, which is an awesome ability. I'm not going to go over all of their passives, basically just highlight their top ability and something I would add. I'm trying to make it more enticing for people to go to Alliance. This is the whole idea behind it, so we can balance the factions out. And then once we balance the faction out, the PvP events are going to be fucking a blast, I promise you. So like I said, they already have stone skin, 10% armor reduction, immune to poison and bleed. What I'm thinking of adding, and some of these ideas, I just want to throw it out there, give a shout out to my buddy Devin. He actually helped me come up with a lot of these ideas. He's one of my buddies from back in the day. Haven't talked to him in 10 years, just so happens to be on my same server, and I actually did a raid with him, never fucking knew. So we were bullshitting, and this is where a lot of these ideas come up with. Thank you, Devin. So Mighty Stout. It's a 10-minute cooldown, lasts 10 seconds. We're thinking they grow in size, they get 5% healing bonus, and they get a beer breath shield. Flat 100 damage shield that scales with ability power and attack damage. Obviously, you'd put a cap on how much it scales. You don't want, a 10,000 bonus shield, but it's just something nice and little. So I think this is a nice little addition for people to think about going with dwarves. Moving on to gnomes. Gnomes already have the escape artist, remove snare slash movement reduction. I'm thinking of adding something called instant enlightenment. 10-minute cooldown, and basically gives them one free cast that's 1.5 seconds and under. So essentially a free scorch or a free polymorph. While we're chasing them down, they could just turn around, boom, polymorph, and then get away, because they need something. They need a little help. So the humans, what I'm thinking about, they're already a monster at swords and maces, gets that +5, and the 5% spirit. I'm thinking of the additional ability would be Perception of Weakness. For 15 seconds on a 10-minute cooldown, they get to pierce 2,000 of the target's armor. Now that's only piercing for them, not everybody else in the raid. So the warriors and the rogues, they're definitely, all of these might cause Alliance to be able to parse a little higher. Who the fuck cares? If it balances the faction and be able to give a healthy economy, healthy PvP events, stuff like that, why not? Like, who cares? Like, yeah, so we want to parse high, but if they parse a little bit better because we gave them some bonuses, whatever. Like, don't get too hung up on that shit. So night elves, they currently already have fast movement while they're dead, because we're always fucking killing them. and invisible while they're standing still. I like shadow mending or whatever. That's awesome. But let's give them something a little bit extra. How about breath of nature? 10-second cold or 10-second buff, 5-minute cooldown. It gives them a 20% flat movement speed, regenerate 1.5 health, increase to 2% while they're under 30% health overall, or until damage is taken. So it's not too broken, but it helps them heal up between, packs they pull or in a dungeon. But if they take damage, they lose the bonus. So stuff like that. I don't think any of these are game breaking, but I do think with a combination of adding a racial benefit and some of the things I'm about to talk about, just overall leveling boost ideas, that I think a lot of people will go Alliance. So the added bonuses while leveling, I'm thinking of basically little things to add. What I'm thinking about, a dynamic XP gain boost. So up to 100%. What I mean by this is, if a server only has 20% alliance, give them 100%. Like let people come in and level to 60 quick, because we need to balance that shit out. It's not even fun when it's like that. Don't be a dick. Think about it. Come on. So yeah, it's gonna be dynamic. So it will scale based off how many people. Give them a free mount at level 40. I say unlock their bank slots. Not give them the bags, but unlock it so they don't got to pay for it. Unlock all the flight patterns. Give them free discounted when they have to upgrade their abilities at their trainer. And then one I think would be amazing for them, especially in the early days, give them a 1-minute immunity after they land from a flight pattern, so they're not just getting camped the whole time. Now, if they were to attack someone, that's going to cancel that immunity. But I think these bonuses, along with the others, like I said, we could remove some, we could add some, we could change the cooldown, how long stuff lasts. All of that can be changed. But I think the overall grand scheme of the idea between giving them these bonuses is going to help actually bring more people to Alliance and balance the server. As always, I love to hear some of your guys' feedback. And if you haven't seen part 1 where I talk about the PvP event, that's going to be epic. First, we got to do the faction balance, but the PvP event is going to be fucking great. Check in the top right corner. That's the link to that video. And as always, guys, game on.